What's going on, guys? It's the other Sean with Shock Surplus, and we're back at the shop again. And another Subaru again.
It's oddly familiar to the last one, isn't it? It's having deja vu in here.
Just a little.
This one will be a little bit different suspension setup on it, but same kind of basic layout and build.
Tell us who you are, what we're doing today.
Eric with Rig for Dirt and Fast Friends. We're working on Project Subaru, the two Subarus with Tread Magazine. One's gonna be a little bit more wild. I think you saw Ali's vehicle build already. This one's gonna be a little bit more wild, and that starts really with the suspension. So we're doing a Rallitek kit here with Bilstein struts and a little bit more of the armored underpinnings, control arms, trailing arms, a little bit more adjustment for tuning.
And so I think you were saying we were doing the 2.5 and 3 inch kit. You didn't go sport, you went overload, right? Yeah,
I went overload, and it's 2.5 up front with 3 inches in the rear, accounting for a little bit of extra weight even on the overload coils, so it sits flat when it's loaded up.
Yeah, well, and a stiffer rear spring means it's gonna slide a little better too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
The locker in the back, a little stiffness in the spring.
Yeah, it should party. Well, a lot of boxes here, so let's start tearing in and see how these actually look. So now that you've seen it, let's see it on the car. We're gonna start putting it together.
You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's get after it. We got the shocks out. You can see the stock one here, basic setup. This is great, the aftermarket one. A lot higher quality, bigger spring. You can see the top hat on there has a little bit of offset to correct for caster and camber, but otherwise it just bolts right up into place. We're just gonna be able to slide this in the location, indexing points, brake lines, ABS sensors, sway bar link end. Everything should just bolt right up. So this is a nice, quick, easy upgrade that shouldn't take us too much to install. We got the front all mocked up. We've torqued it down to spec. We've marked our torque settings, so if anything moves, we'll have a quick visual identification on that. It was really easy to set up, but you should know both sides look the same in the front. They're not. The top hat spacer has an offset that is directional. It's clocked correctly from the factory, and they mark the shocks so you know. Each of the top hats will have a laser cut arrow, which needs to point to the front of the vehicle, and the passenger side has one of the bolts marked with yellow paint. So you use the yellow paint on the passenger side, clock the arrows forward, and then the bracketry will offset camber and caster, so it's within factory specs, even at the new ride height. The rear doesn't have that same complexity. The shocks can be used on either side, but we do have more lower control arms, trailing arms, sway bar brackets. So we have more complexity in the rear, but not particular to shock orientation. Let's move back there and check out the install.
All right, guys, after a little bit of a long day, the Subaru's on some new shoes, has some new legs, and she's looking pretty rad. This was definitely more of an involved install than the Ironman setup, but to be expected with a setup like this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have every component that Rallitek makes for a Subaru Crosstrek, so a lot more linkage in the rear, above and beyond just the frame spacers and shocks. You guys will get to see all of those details in the video, but it did take a little bit of extra time. I'd probably block out a full day for this install, but I think you could do it in a garage with a friend.
Yeah, and following along the video will help you immensely. Their instructions were great, but getting the order of operations right is really what's gonna save you the time. That's why we got the video for you. I know we haven't had it on long, but how have you liked it so far?
I like that it's extra stiffness in the suspension. I felt like the stock setup was a little bit soft, especially when you had it loaded down off-road. Just in a drive around the neighborhood, it felt stiffer around turns, still felt smooth on speed bumps, and it's kind of built to carry a load, so I'm expecting it to be stiff unloaded. I'm really excited to get it on the trail at like camping weight, hit some forest roads a little bit harder than last time.
Yeah, well, and keep an eye out for the full ride review. We're gonna, like we said, take it out on the trail, rip it a little sideways, party on the street, get it loaded down, and we'll give you the full breakdown of how it feels when that video comes out. So like, subscribe, make sure you're ready when that comes out so you can see how this really goes. I'm Sean with Shock Surplus.
I'm Eric with Rigged for Dirt.
And another Subaru in the books.